Hey, my lovely friends. Hope you're keeping well. In today's video lesson, we're going to continue our vocabulary learning journey with Dr. Sam Harris. I'll include more example sentences for you to read in the description. Let's do this.
It's very easy to misunderstand what I'm saying if you have a fairly effete conception of well-being or happiness.
The first word of the lesson is effete. It is an adjective which means weak, without power, or in this case, superficial. So he says, if your understanding of the words happiness and well-being is superficial, you may misunderstand me. Let's pronounce this word together, effete, effete. The stress is on the second part, and we use this word disapprovingly when we don't like something or we believe that something is not that important or lacks power. We come across this word in literary contexts usually.
They don't sound like substantial terms. It sounds like
They don't sound like substantial terms. They don't refer to experiences perhaps that are very deep or meaningful.
When you're thinking about what spa you want to go to on the weekend, then you're thinking about your well-being. But when your kid's getting tortured in the next room, well-being is not the framing that makes sense. But I'm using well-being and even a lighter term like happiness versus suffering to run as deep as we can possibly go, and deeper than that if we only had minds that could go deeper than that.
So he's using the terms happiness and well-being to refer to important experiences, even experiences that we may never have had in our lives, but are possible.
Right. So it's just, again, I'm willing to dispense with the conventional terminology.
He says, I'm willing to dispense with that terminology. When you dispense with something, you stop using it. So he says, I'm willing to give up these terms if it helps, if it fosters better understanding. To dispense, and pay attention to the preposition there, with, to dispense with something.
In order to just reset the conversation and descriptively explore this space of all possible experience, right? So what are the concepts? If you don't like words like good and evil, how do you want to think about a space where you individually and we collectively as conscious beings have a navigation problem, right? Where morality is essentially the demand that is being imposed on us by reality, the reality that we are as conscious beings and whatever reality in which we're entangled. The demand is being made on us at each moment to do or not do something next.
Okay, so he says that we have a navigational problem. We need to make choices, and morality is the demand that reality makes so that we make the right choice, that we move towards a state of well-being.
Right? We're continually tacking in some unseen wind.
I love the word tack. It is a verb, and we often use this word in connection with the way boats move in the wind. So he says that we are constantly tacking in this unseen wind. We have to make decisions. When a boat tacks in the wind, it positions itself at an angle with respect to the wind. I love this word, tack.
And experiencing the results of that movement.
Yeah.
And you could imagine beings like ourselves where they have a very different language. The conceptual layer that applied to this navigation could be very different, and it might not be easy to translate our moral talk into their talk about these changes. Right?
Maybe you can tell me what I'm missing from my picture then, because like I say, I'm broadly speaking an ethical emotivist. But
say more about the consequences of that. What does that mean?
And it's really important in a debate or in a discussion to ask for a clarification.
I'm not sort of, I don't know, I always like to be a little bit agnostic about these things, open to change and all that, but I'm broadly attracted to this view that...
Okay, so we could use the term agnostic to talk about a person who is not sure whether God exists or not, but in a broader manner, you could use the term agnostic to talk about something that you're not 100% certain about. So he says, I'm agnostic, I'm unsure.
When we make ethical statements or pronouncements, we're essentially just expressing emotions at each other. And so when I say that murder is wrong, I'm sort of expressing some kind of distaste, or I'm expressing something akin to saying, don't do that.
Akin to means similar to. It's a fantastic phrase to learn. So this gentleman's argument is that when we talk about morality, we are essentially expressing our feelings. We are talking about how we feel about a particular situation.
Which is just like a command. It doesn't have any truth value. It's not even subjectively true or false. It's just like a command or an expression. And so if that's the case, then this sort of ethical talk is completely different to the picture that you're painting. And so
No, not really. I can translate some of that into the picture I'm painting. Because again, it sounds like to say that it's just a statement about the way we feel or might feel.
Well, it's not, to be clear, it's not a statement about how we feel. It is the expression of the feeling. So the mistake that's often made with emotivism is when I say murder is wrong, I'm not saying something like I don't like murder or I feel bad towards murder, because that can be true and false. As we were discussing earlier, it can be true that I don't like murder. It's the expression of the dislike to the murder. So A.R. famously has it as just going, boo murder. That's not something that has any kind of truth value. And
boo doesn't, but you're granting that it is possible to not like murder, and that could be an objective state of a subjective system.
That's
when we say you are granting that, it means that you are giving credit to, or you are conceding that, or you are acknowledging that something is true. It's a good word, and especially in discussions and debates, people use this term. You are granting that.
It's no problem at all.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
And so I find myself in a world where I put my hand on a hot stove, and when I do, I go, I don't like that. And it's objectively true that I don't like that. Cool. And so I look around the world, and there are certain experiences that are going to make me suffer and some that are not. And so I pick the ones that don't make me suffer because I prefer them. And that's it, man. That's the story.
Okay, well, let's build from there. So that's you as the emotivist, picking and choosing in the space of possible experience. Would you grant that there are experiences you haven't had and you don't know what you're missing?
Yes, in terms of what I would, if experiencing those, subjectively enjoy. Sure.
Right. So, and it might be there are circumstances where, or there are experiences that are available to people and other conscious minds, but they're not available to you given how you are. Right. So you might not have the talent required to get there, or the genes required to get you there.
Absolutely. Yeah. No problem with that.
Okay. So the landscape of possible experience extends what you currently know or even can know.
Okay, so the term landscape literally refers to an area of land, but the landscape that he is referring to is about a large domain where other experiences are available to people who are of different dispositions. Maybe they have different talents, or they are wired differently, or they're in different situations. So the word landscape can be used in a figurative way. For instance, you could say the political landscape, the social landscape. Anyways, this is a fascinating discussion. Check out the full video if you're interested in the topic.